everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Monday, so that can only mean one thing. It is a Diddy Stitch with me. We are working on Snow Village, so let's get started. Well, good morning. Everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for taking some time out of your day and spending it with me so we can get some stitches in. As I said, today is Monday. It is our Stitch with Me. We're working on Snow Village by Country Cottage Needleworks, and if you have this chart, grab it out and get some stitches in with me. So we're going to spend a little time together while we do a little bit of stitching, have our morning cuppa, and just relax a little bit. What a perfect way to start a week. I love starting my week this way. Alright, so yes, my video has gone up a little bit late today, but if you're seeing this, you don't care, you're still seeing it, so that's all that matters. Alright, so we are working, we're working with white yet again, obviously, because this little chart here has a lot of white in it. So what I've been doing, for those that are new here, welcome, first of all, thank you for stopping by, and if you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. Alright, so, what I've been doing, so I don't make because I've made some mistakes, you know, and other charts that I've done in this one and that, because I'm talking and I'm not really paying attention, like I'm focusing but I'm not focusing, if that makes any sense. So I have made some mistakes along the way. So what I thought I would do with this block, and it's working really well for me, is I've actually like mapped out where I've got to go. So I do half the leg and then I just come back, and while I'm chatting to you, I'm just doing the second part of the leg. So that's what we're going to do today. Now we already have all of our snowmen in, and we've got some of the trees, and yeah, so we're just now doing the crosses. So we'll spend some time together today, probably get this white finished off, start on some brown, and then I will map out some more during the week, and yeah, come back and do it again next week with you. So we did put this to a vote the other week on whether I was going to rotate through my whips, because I do have quite a number of whips, and the overwhelming response was to stay with this until it is finished. So that's what we're doing, and I'm trying to get more and more done. So this here is pretty much what we've done in February, but I only work on it once a week, so I think we're doing pretty good. Okay, and so I'm hoping that once we get all this white done and we're moving on to some more color, it'll move. These blocks tend to move pretty quickly. This one's taking a little bit of time because it is a little bit, you know, it's a little bit boring. It's just white, isn't it, really? All right, so let me just adjust my light so it looks a little bit lighter for you there, and let's get some stitches in. All right, so it has been a busy week. Now I do apologize, no floss tube went up on Friday because I had a lot of other commitments on that particular day, all of which ended up falling through, and I ended up doing something else completely different. So yeah, so that didn't happen, but that just means in the next one I'll have a lot more to show you. So I do apologize for that. But yeah, it's not that I'm stopping or anything. I just, yeah, I just basically was overcommitted on that particular day, and that sometimes happens in my life. So yeah, but we are now into, well, we're going into March. We've only got another today and tomorrow left of February, and we're already into the third month of the year. Can you believe it? My goodness, that has gone so quick, so quick. Cannot believe how quick that's gone. Like, it's like a blink of, I'm like, wasn't it just yesterday that Mia was here? Like, it's already been 5 weeks, 6 weeks since she's been here. Like, I cannot believe it. I've got a lot done in that time though. What about everybody else? Do you feel like it's been productive for you so far this year? I'm feeling good about what I've got done. I'm feeling good about just doing, you know, not stressing about getting lots and lots of stitching in. Just, you know, focusing on just focusing on that one chart during the week from the bingo prompt, and I am enjoying that, although I haven't done the new start yet, because I have been that busy. I actually have now. I know, shock, right? Nicole hasn't done a new start, and she was allowed to do a new start. What's going on? I know, is the world ending? No, it's not. It's just Nicole has been very, very busy. So yeah, so basically I know. I was actually shocked last night when I was talking to some people on Zoom last night. For those that don't know, Dee Dee's actually has a regular Zoom room. It's a 24/7 room, so you can pop in there anytime with friends in the group or something like that. You just put an announcement out saying, hey, I'm going into Zoom. Give it do it about an hour beforehand, and then if you've got friends in the group, tag them so they know that you're going into the room and they can join you and stuff like that. There is some guidelines that you need to follow. You'll find them at the pinned post in the Facebook group. But it's a great way to catch up with friends. Now, last night I was needing a little bit of motivation. I don't normally get on because my husband's home, but he wasn't home last night because I have to do a lot of work. So he decided that he's going to go over to the workshop and do a lot of work over there. So, yeah. And I'm just at the moment, the reason I've got a lot of work on is because I'm setting up my Patreon, and that takes quite a considerable amount for launch. I've got to get, stuff done and all my ducks in a row, and there's a lot of planning, and I'm planning out a year of content and all that sort of stuff. And it's all bonus content. So it's all, to do with craft and everything, but it's bonus, and I'm setting up a tier where you can get the magazine each month and all that sort of stuff. So it's taking a bit. So we'll start to see a lot of social media posts coming up on Facebook, in the group, on Instagram, even here on the community tab. There'll be stuff coming up where you're, coming soon. Did you know? All that sort of stuff. So just keep an eye out for that. Don't forget to give it a like. And even maybe share it with your crafty friends. They might want to join along, especially if they're not on Facebook and whatnot. So it's sort of like our own private little group where we can share what we're working on, as well as you get bonus content and whatnot. And we have 4 tiers to that. But anyway, there'll be more about that as we get closer, because you can't go there yet. It's still in the process of being set up. So yeah, but I have been doing that. So he had some stuff to do over at the workshop, and that sort of came about because on Saturday we went down to Brisbane and we went in the Jag. Now the Jag is as old as me, so it's in its 50s. I think it's 51 or 52 maybe. I think he said it was a 1971, so this year it will be it'll be 52, because I was born in 1970. And anyway, it played up on the way down. We drove down and drove back, drank a whole heap of fuel. It's a V8 anyway, so drank even extra fuel, and it had a misfire, and it was only firing on 6 cylinders, he reckons, 7 cylinders. So I said to him, well, you know what? I've got to do a ton of work. You're fretting about your Jag. Why don't you just go over, because he stays over there sometimes during the week, especially if he's got to start in the Nango, rather than drive home and then drive 30 k's back to the workshop and then you start where his workshop is. So sometimes he'll stay over there. So yeah, we were talking, and excuse me, basically we came to the conclusion that I had a lot of work, he had a lot of work, so we're spending 72 hours apart. It'll be about 72 hours because he left here yesterday, and then by the time he gets back on Tuesday night, it'll be about 72 hours. Excuse me. I literally just woke up. Yeah, so basically he's over there doing all that sort of stuff. So he worked into the night last night and cleaned up area where he could put the Jag in, and tonight he'll be working on that and getting it all cracking again. And so I basically last night I was organising, planning out all that sort of stuff, and I spent most of yesterday planning out my social media content and all that sort of stuff. So this is all stuff that you guys don't see or hear about really. I give a little bit of a snippet, but I spent an entire day yesterday from about 9 o'clock. I start late on Sundays, from about 9 o'clock in the morning until about 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, doing social media posts, planning them out, what I was going to put up and when it was going up and all that sort of stuff. And it takes a lot of time. And then I do some sort of scheduling as well, and that's what takes a lot of time, because you've got to write the posts and all that sort of stuff. So I have this year I have been, like, I haven't done it as yet because I have been doing a lot of planning and stuff like that. So I'm now into, March was always going to be my execution month. So, I know that sounds terrible, doesn't it? So this is where I put all the plans into action. And because I was this was a decision that I made late in the year last year, and then I was also I was not sure if I wanted to do that or not, like go this route. So I sort of sat on it for a little while, and my husband and I had a really good conversation about it, and the lovely Gail also told me basically to stop being stupid. She didn't say it like that though. Okay, that's me paraphrasing. She just said, stop it. And because I do suffer from very low self-esteem, and feeling like I'm being judged, or like I have a sense of I'm not afraid to try something new. Don't get me wrong. I'm not afraid to try something new. What my issue is, I have this internal dialogue from when I was younger that I would never amount to anything. I'd never be any good. These were things that were said to me as a child. And so those things are there. And every now and I keep them in check for most part. But every now and again, the critical person in me comes out and starts giving myself a hard time, basically, essentially giving myself a hard time about it. And so I had to get over that. So I worked through that, and as I said, with the help of my husband and Gail, just being matter of fact and going, stop it. And I know that I need to stop it, but it is hard to control her sometimes. But anyway, I got her under control, and so and as my husband said, he goes, even if you just plan it all out and you don't do anything until next year, at least you've planned it out. He goes, just start there. So that's what I did. I started planning it out, and from there it just flowed. And so then I set the goal that I wanted to have the plan, what I was going to offer, all that sort of stuff. And then basically I'm like, right, well, now I've planned it. Now I need to put it into practice. So I sat on it for a little while longer, and then I tweaked it. And so January and February have been a lot of planning, talking to my husband, going, hey, this is what I want to do. And he said, well, can you work it so you can have weekends off? Even though he doesn't always have weekends off, he goes, so if I end up being quiet, I can say, hey, let's go somewhere and we can just go, you don't have anything on. So basically I've been doing a lot of rearranging, because sometimes he works on the weekend. Sometimes I might do some of my content for YouTube on the weekend, and for the week or ahead and stuff like that. Or I'll do, I'll go through my stash and see what I want to work on and all that sort of stuff. So basically we've sort of discussed it, and it's where we are both trying to get he's a little bit hard because he's a tow truck driver, so I have to make friends with the fact that sometimes I'm going to be sitting at home weekend twiddling my thumbs. Well, I can cross stitch or read, or watch TV. I can do other things. I can go out, or I can organise something with Narralee or the girls, and go visit Savannah or whatever if he can't come. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to just sit at home waiting for him, but we are both now endeavouring to try and have weekends off. He's probably got about another 4 or 5 months, maybe even a bit longer, of weekends, because he's still cleaning up after the guy that worked there last, and he sort of made a bit of a mess. And so we're not blaming him wholly and solely, but Brendan said, it's just as much as his fault as it is that other person's fault as well, just being slack and not putting things away. So he's in the process right now of sorting it out. So I understand how difficult that is and how overwhelming it can be when it's got away from you. So I just said to him, you know what, you don't need to worry about me. You just need to focus on what you need to do. I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, and so he surprised me on the weekend, because we've talked about that. He surprised me on the weekend. He had nothing on. He had a lot of cleaning to do and whatnot. He was over at the workshop, and he rang me. I was doing live streams on other people's channels and stuff like that, the book discussions and whatnot, and anyway, I was online, and he sent me a message, and he goes, do you want to go out for dinner? And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to go out for dinner. And He goes, all right, no worries, I'll see you a bit later. And yeah, he ended up coming home, and luckily, because I had been filming and I was on live streams and whatnot, managed to I was dressed and ready to go. And then he said, oh, I want to go for Mexican. And I'm like, what? There's no Mexican in Kingaroy. He goes, oh no, we're going to go to Toowoomba or Brisbane. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, no worries, that's all right. He goes, I'm just going to go and fix the jag door, because he bent the jag lock so it doesn't shut properly. So he went and fixed that. And then he goes, I'll be back in an hour and we'll go. And that was at like 3:30. So we went out, we had a date night, and we went and seen Savannah and caught up with her and all that. So that's getting to my point. I was able to just go, yeah, no worries. So that's what I'm sort of doing, trying to get everything, you know, because it's been like pretty relaxed in my work and all the rest of it. I work from home and I do work hard and I'm busy and I do all the stuff for YouTube and whatnot. But now what I'm trying to do is just do it Monday to Friday and have my weekends off. And I'm almost there. Like I was able to just go. I didn't have anything to catch up on. And we had planned to do this back in December and stuff, but then Mia turned up, so that pushed me back. Like I was wanting to launch the Patreon after I'd sat on it and done a bit of this and that and the other, and was planning it out. I was looking at launching in March, but because I had Mia here, essentially I had her here for a month, even though it was a broken month, I still had her here for a month, and I didn't want to work during the Christmas period. I wanted to take some time off and spend with the girls, because I knew that Savannah was going and all that sort of stuff. So in the end, I just went, you know what, I'll push it back to April. I was going to have it mid-April, but I've actually brought it forward, and this month is all about the execution of the plans. So I done yesterday, as I said, I was doing a lot of planning and like everything, the projects and all that are planned, but now what I need to do is set it all up. So like I did the social media stuff, scheduled the announcement bits and pieces that go up, and then planning out my calendar where I can put things in to film and all that sort of stuff, what I've got to film. I've got the list of stuff down the side of the camera, what needs to be filmed, and then I just place it in. So yeah. And the beauty about all these platforms is I can do a lot of filming in one day, I can edit the next day, and then I can upload them to the platforms, and they're scheduled to go out. So that is sort of where I'm at the moment. I love that feature on social media things and whatnot, and I was pleased to see that Patreon also had it too. So that means that, you know, I can when I'm doing filming and I'm already set up for everything, I can do extra content, and it's not going to be a problem because I can just edit it and get it up. So some of you might be wondering what my day looks like for planning out. So I get up in the morning, and if I've got to do a stitch with me like I am right now, I just set up, I get in my jammies. I'm already in my jammies. I grab my cuppa, I've set my stuff up, and away I go. It takes me probably about 5 minutes to set this up, and then I just start stitching. I must admit that doing part of the stitching always helps. That did not sit right. Always helps, and it makes it easier to just chit chat with you and get stitching done. So basically after this video I will go and have a shower and all the rest of it. So remembering I've started this at 7:30, it's a bit later today. Normally I started a bit earlier, and sometimes I do it on Sunday evenings, but I'm getting away from that. So yeah, so basically I just set it up, I start stitching, I stitch for however long, and then I run it through my editing software, take out any sneezes, coughs, try to get out as many coughs as I can. If I'm especially if I have a coughing fit or anything, I take that out. You know, any interruptions. Sometimes no one's home today except for Narrowly, and she was up late playing her game last night. So yeah, and So basically I'll just come out here, set it up, start stitching, have a bit of a chit chat with you, and then I'll go and have a shower and get ready for the rest of the filming. So I have booktube content to film today. I also have Patreon content to film today, and I also have prep to do today for sewing tutorials that I have to film tomorrow. So I basically do what I can, and then I'll prep for the afternoon, and then I get to about 3 o'clock. Of course there's lunch breaks in there as well, like I have a lunch break. And then I get to about 3 o'clock and I'll go and have a half an hour break, have a cup of tea. I might have a little power nap. So I'll just sit on the couch and close my eyes, set the alarm, because I can sleep for a good couple of hours if I let myself. And if I'm really tired, I will actually do that. And especially if I know Brendan's not going to be home, I'll go and have a nap, and then I will come out and I'll edit for a couple of hours, and then I'll stitch for a couple of hours. But the next couple of days I don't think I'll be doing much stitching at all, because I'll be doing a lot of filming and editing and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, Monday and Tuesdays are my big filming and editing days. That's why you don't really see me around very much on social media. I'm not participating in many conversations and stuff like that, mainly because I am behind the camera and creating content for you. Yeah. But I don't mind doing my Stitch with Me's, because they are, I can do them in my jammies. And I don't actually have to have my hair done or anything like that. I mean, no one wants to see a ragged old lady on camera with her hair everywhere. And I'm telling you now, when I wake up in the morning, I have a lot of hair and it is unruly. The first thing I do is I put it up. A lot of time I don't even take it down when I go to bed. I just leave it up, because it's just like, it feels like it's attacking me while I'm asleep. I have taken to plaiting it though when I go to sleep, just to relax my scalp a little bit and whatnot. But yeah, so I'm super excited. I'm sure you can tell that by my voice, that I am going to be able to bring you all this extra content for the Patreon members. Yeah, and I think that you'll be very happy with the things that I have planned. And but don't worry, you will be the first to know when I'm ready to launch it. You will all be told that. Well, I know the launch date, it is April 1st. So basically from April 1st, you'll be able to go over there and join whatever tier that you want to join. We have 4 tiers, which is good. And we've got a pretty good variety happening in there. Alright. So it goes a lot quicker when I'm not having to count and whatnot. So so basically what will happen after I've done all my work today, probably during my lunch hour, because I'm making sure that I take a lunch hour. So I'm setting an alarm. When the alarm goes off, I go and I just walk away, because I've got into the habit of not doing it. Years ago, I was probably about 2021 is when I stopped having my lunch breaks. Prior to that, I always had lunch breaks and whatnot. So and it was like, back then it was only half an hour, but now that I'm working Monday to Friday and I am out here from early in the morning until late in the afternoon and sometimes into the evening, I really need to have a break at lunchtime. And my lunchtime is around 1 o'clock, so I have that break at 1, and then I stop craft work that I'm doing at 3 o'clock, 3:30. And I just had to have a stretch then. It's a very sleepy morning this morning. Probably didn't help that I stayed up to midnight. Actually, I stayed up longer than that, because after I got off Zoom, I then read for an hour and a half. So it was about 1:30 when I went to sleep. Yeah. Shh, don't tell anybody. But anyway, yeah, I'm just making sure that I have a lunch break, and that way, and then at 3:30 I have that half an hour break for a cup of tea and a biggie or some toast or something like that. if I'm feeling it. Because sometimes I'll have lunch. I don't know if this happens to anybody else. I'll have lunch. I can go, like I could go without food all day. Not a problem. Right? But I try to eat around, 1 or 2 so I don't get the shakes. Can't thread a needle. Oh, I might need to eat something. I drink all day. Like I drink a lot of water and stuff like that. Always have done. But yeah, anyway, when I have something to eat, it's quite funny because like I'll have something to eat and I feel full and it's not even 2 hours later I feel peckish again. Is anybody else like that? Like I don't know. And I guess it depends what I eat too. Like if it's high protein, I don't feel like I need to snack. I still get peckish, but I don't feel like having. Yeah, so maybe I just need to change what I'm having for lunch, make it a bit more high protein. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but yeah. So I end up having something to eat. Generally, it's just a piece of toast or something like that. And then I don't have dinner usually until Brendan's home. If he's not home, I'll have it a little bit earlier, but I usually wait for him to get home, and he sort of, at the moment, he gets home about 7:30, which is late for me. I think I should eat earlier, but I like to eat with him, so yeah. Sometimes I can't wait, like he's out and about and I'm like starving. Like, dude, you're eating on your own. I'll cook you dinner when you get home, but you're eating on your own. So, but anyway. So yeah, I am a little bit daunted about the work that I've got ahead of me, but at the same time, it's no different than like it's work that I know what to do. It's not new work that I've got to do. Like they're new projects and they're extra projects, but it's not new things that I'm learning. So it's just and setting up and all that sort of stuff. And then originally I was going to wait until I had my new hardware, so my new cameras and all that sort of stuff, but I just think I just need to, for lack of a better term, pull the trigger and just get with the program and get it done and get started, and everything will flow from there. And I know I can guarantee when Gail's listening to this, she's nodding her head because we've had this conversation about my negative Nancy. That's her name, Negative Nancy. And yeah, is it bad that I've named the voices in my head? I don't think so. I think we all have well, there's some other names: Negative Nelly, Negative Nancy. I think I've heard someone say No Nigel. Yeah, I feel sorry for those people that have those names, but yeah, anyway. What can you do? So, yeah, mine is Nancy. And she is a critic, I tell you. She's harsh. She's not nice at all. Not someone I want in my life, but she's here. But in saying that too, she has, in the past, helped me make decisions and has been the right decision not to do it. It turned out not the right move. So, not all bad. Just makes me a little bit slower to get with the program and get things done. But I'm here now, I'm on track, and that's all that matters, right? The little needle thread is a bit bent. But they're good, at least they don't break. They break more needles than they break. These break. And my little needle minder today is brought to you by Wombat Hollow Crafts. I got that in my advent, for those that don't know. And Wombat Hollow Crafts is my lovely friend Gail. And she sent out a whole heap of... she gave me another one. I've got another one here close. I've got all the others I've put away or they're on projects. But this is another one that she sent me as well, which is... This one pretty much stays on my little scissor tin. So I've got a tin that's got my little vintage scissors and extra needles, and this one just stays on top. So I close this and then it's on here. So it's like a little, it's a needle minder. Haha. So yeah. And so I've always got a needle minder with me because I take those scissors with me a lot of time. Now, where did that thread go? Where are we? Have we started yet? No. Okay. So yeah, as I said, we went out for dinner and I seen Savannah and she is so happy. Like, I was telling the ladies on Zoom last night that when I seen her, as soon as I drove in the gate, her hair, the humidity, and she's got quite curly hair, so she's, for those that watch Friends, they'll understand this statement. When she got in the car, I'm like, hey Monica, how you going? She just cracked up laughing. So for those that don't know, in season 9 or 10, they were down at Barbados and they were at a paleontology convention with Ross, and the whole lot of them went. It was when Joey kissed Rachel and the other paleontologist was in it, Charlie, was seeing Ross. And anyway, because of the humidity, when she arrived there, they kept making like Diana Ross jokes and all the rest of it, because her hair was just like sticking out, and it was all like obviously humidity. They were playing on the humidity thing. So anytime that my hair or Neralee's hair or Savannah's hair gets unruly, humidity is terrible for us. It just makes us have really frizzy hair. Anyway, and like I usually have a lot of product in mine. I have my hair straightener with me and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, she's just like, she just cracked up laughing. But yeah, she goes, I actually don't mind it. She goes, it's sitting really well, because she got a haircut before uni and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, so we went and had Mexican at Gomez or something. I don't know. I can never remember the name of the place, but it was a Mexican place. Went and had it. It was okay as far as food goes. It was all right. What I was not happy about, it was at Morayfield and it was at Spotlight. Like, this little restaurant is in the Spotlight area. There's this little group of shops that anybody that knows Morayfield knows where I'm talking about. I just looked at Brent, I'm like, you take me to Spotlight and it's closed? What the? I'm like, can we have a lunch date next time instead of a dinner date? Mind you, we drove all up 6 hours. Like, by the time we drove down to her, then picked her up, then drove back to Morayfield, drove back to where she lives, then drove home again. We got him home just in time to pick up Neralee. So we were gone for I think actually we were only gone for 5 hours. No, it was longer than that. It was 6 hours for sure. I don't know. And like I was saying last night to the ladies, that like we're so polar opposite in our tastes and whatnot, that on the way down we were chit-chatting and all that sort of stuff, and towards getting closer to Savannah, he sort of had his book in, listening to it. I didn't listen to my book on the way down, but on the way back, because we can't decide on a book to read. We read different things, like, and I don't enjoy shoot 'em ups and dystopian and space odysseys and all that sort of stuff. I will listen to them, but I won't physically read the book, but I will listen to them. And I don't mind a little bit of sci-fi every now and again. I'm getting better at liking it. But a lot of the stuff he listens to, I can't. I just can't. And so when he said, oh, well, we'll pick a book, and I'm like, yeah, no, we're not going to pick a book. You're halfway through a book. I'm halfway through a book. I would really like to finish my book on that. And I said, you've got headphones. I've got headphones. So we'll just listen to our books. And he looked at me and he goes, yeah, right, that sounds good. I said, we'll talk on the way down. Like, we talk every day, like, and whatnot. And so on the way home, we just had our books in and listening to the books. And I was listening to Wheel of Time. I'm in book 3. I'm doing a buddy read. I was doing a buddy read with Deb Ramsey from Instagram. And so basically we were doing a buddy read, but she's got a little bit busy with her kids and stuff like that, so I don't want to put pressure on her. Another friend of mine on BookTube that I met last year online, she started reading it as well. So I've sort of just I had finished book 1 and 2, and I was supposed to read book 3 in December, and Mia, like it's a book that I need to not be interrupted every 5 seconds. So Mia was here, so I didn't read it while she was here. Then I just didn't put it on a TBR. I was still sitting on my December TBR. And then I noticed that Sid was reading it, and I'm like, okay, cool. She's reading it. I'm like, what do you think of the books and all the rest of it? And she goes, oh, do you want to buddy read with me? Because she was the only one reading it that she knew of. And I'm like, yeah, no worries. I'll buddy read with you. So yeah, she let me know because she was still in book 1 or at the end of book 1 or just started book 2 when she asked me. And I said, look, I'll just wait. I won't keep reading. I won't pick it up and read. I'll wait until you're ready to go. And then she sent me a message and said that she had started it while I was asleep and she was up to chapter 20 or something. So I went, cool, no worries, it's here. I'll just pick it up and start reading it. And I have it on audio as well as in the physical. I got the physical book because I think Savannah would really enjoy it. Maybe not right now, but I think she would enjoy the in-depth world building and all that sort of stuff when she's a bit older. So I sort of got that for her, got the whole series, and they're all in the same sort of cover as well. So and she was pretty happy about it because when she's seen it on the shelf, she knows that any book that ends up on my shelf ends up on her shelf eventually. And so yeah, so she was pretty pleased to see it was up there. Now, for those that don't know what the Wheel of Time is, it is an epic fantasy and it's a high fantasy. So there's a lot of characters in this, but we have 6 main characters that we focus on, but then there's all these side characters that come in. I read somewhere that over the whole series, which has 14 books in it, by the way, and one like short story, I think it was 2,500 characters by the end of the series. But we only focus on the main well, at the moment we're only focusing on the main 6. There are a couple of side characters that are prominent. So we have Tom and we have Elaine. With the girls, there's a one named Elaine, and the Gleeman, who is sort of like someone that does plays and stuff like that for bedding and all that sort of stuff. He sort of is in it. He went out of it and then he's come back into it again. And then there's a few reoccurring characters that have come in people that own taverns and stuff like that where they stay. So it's really easy. Like, it sounds complicated, but it's actually, I was really surprised, and I'm sort of kicking myself that I didn't read this back when it was coming out, because I was just so intimidated by the size of them. Like, book 3 is 600 pages. Most of them are over 600 pages. There's some that are around 1,000 pages as well, and there's 14 of them. Now, the story behind this book is really interesting too, because the author actually died before he finished this series, but his wife apparently was his editor and had all his notes, so he had plotted out his book. Because it's a book, it's a series, so it is one book. You've got the same characters all the way through. It's just broken up. And so basically, he obviously had plotted it all out. Now, if you're a reader and a fantasy reader, you know who Brandon Sanderson is. His wife, after he passed, Robert Jordan passed away in 2007, approached, and I don't know when she approached him, but eventually she approached Brandon Sanderson, and he finished, I believe his name is on the last 3 books. So 12, 13 and 14. He finished the books off, and apparently he done a phenomenal job. Like, there are some die-hard Wheel of Time fans out there. Like, you only have to look at how they're treating the series to know that they're die-hard, and they have given it really good reviews and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see if the tone of the book changes, because we've had that basically life-changing. He passed away, and it was unfinished, so, and he still had 3 books to go, and I'm pretty sure those books all are around 1,000 page mark. That I'll have to check that, but I'm at book 3 right now, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm almost to the end of it, and what I like about this, like, I like fantasy, and I do like high fantasy, but I don't read a ton of it, because a lot of time there are a lot of characters, there's a lot of world building, and sometimes they're too short. if that makes any sense. So if you get a lot of world building, but then not a lot of character development, whereas this is really nicely balanced out. We've learned about the worlds that they're in right now, and when we come into a new world, he'll tell us about that, like a new section of the world. He'll tell us about that. We've got maps to look at and all that sort of stuff. But what I really like about Robert Jordan's writing style is that you're not focusing on the 6 characters at once. So in one chapter, you are not got 6 points of view. You've only got 2 points of view, or maybe 1 point of view, because what happens is he splits them off, and then he'll bring them back together. Then he'll split them off, and then he'll bring them back together again. And so they're all having their own separate journeys and their own separate growth and all that sort of stuff. So right now, like the first book, it was focused on the young kids from this that had to flee their village because the Trollocs were coming, and and then they were going to the eye of the world. There's this wheel that spins and weaves, and it's like destiny basically, so they got split, like they were all together, then they got split up, and so they were off in pairs. And I really love how he takes them off in pairs and stuff like that. So in the first book, Matt and Rand were mostly together. I do not like Matt. Matt is a douche. Rand is the Dragon Reborn. They've now established, and and so basically, and then there's Perrin, and there's Egwene, and then there's Nynaeve. Nynaeve drives me mental sometimes. She is so pig-headed, but she's also hysterical at the same time. Like, I have many laugh out loud moments with her. Excuse me. And so she originally was a wisdom of her village, and then she's followed them. Egwene left with Rand, Perrin, and Matt. And then there's Aes Sedai, which was Moraine, and then there's Lan, who is her guard, I guess you would say. And then Tom is the gleeman that came into it very early on in the books, and then he went out of the book, and then he's back again. So yeah, but they're all split up, and we haven't seen much of Rand in this book. Like, he's split away from them, and he's by himself because well, I don't want to give it away, but he's sort of going a little bit crazy. And so because the power, the one true source actually power that they connect into, the Aes Sedai connect into for their magic, is only used by women. If men use it, it sends them crazy. And so there's a little bit of intrigue there of why it sends them crazy and all that sort of stuff. And and you don't actually know who the good guys and who the bad guys are. Like, you think that they're the good guys are the good guys, but then they'll do something questionable, and you go, are they? I don't know. And the way he ebbs and flows, like, you'll be going along, he'll do a little bit of world building, like you're in a village or whatever, and he's telling you all about it, and you're with Matt, or you're with Egwene and Nynaeve, or you're with the Aes Sedai or whatever, and you're learning about that, and then it starts to feel like, oh yeah, let's just move, and then all of a sudden it just ramps up, something exciting happens, and he's ebbed and flowed. So the first 3 books have been exactly this, exactly like that right throughout, and it just keeps you like at that moment where you think, oh, I might put the book down, something exciting happens, and that has happened all the way through the book. It is a really hard book to put down. And then there is if you go and look at reviews and stuff like that, they say in the middle of the series there's 2 or 3 books, I can't remember, where they're a bit of a hard slog, but they all say make sure you read it and you push through, because you will be well rewarded when you get into the later books. So, and that's including the stuff that Brandon Sanderson has written as well. So I'm excited to read this. Like, I've wanted to read it for quite some time, and when the series came out, and then there was the new, like, I could never really find the books in the bookstores or anything like that, and never seen them in the secondhand stores. And then when the series came out on Prime Video, which I still haven't watched, and I don't think I'm going to watch it until I'm finished the series, and then by then there might be a few might be the second series out or the third series out by then. Just depends how long it takes to read these. But I think that it would be a book that I would revisit too, and reread. And some people are probably going, why would you reread a book? You've already read it. Well, why would you watch a movie? You've already watched it. You know, like if it's a good book, you will revisit it. And you'll probably get a lot more out of it too. And having the physical books, like as I said, I'm listening and reading along, or just reading. I'm using that sort of combination of getting through the book, because it is a long book, and I am buddy reading it, and she's listening to the audio, so she's moving along pretty quick. I do that. I listen to it if I've got to do some cleaning or something like that, or I'll sit down and grab my book and read along as it's being played to me. Other times I just grab the book and go outside, and I just want to hear the sounds of nature, and I just read along with the words on that. But I am loving the series. That's been my high focus at the moment. And if you are over, you haven't come over to my booktube channel, make sure you come over. It's Dusty Book Sniffers, and we have reading sprints every Friday, so that is live, so you can chit chat to me in the comments. And now I know Rolanda can attest to this. She came over. Now Rolanda is a proclaimed non-reader. Okay, but she came over to see what was happening over on my booktube channel, because I was live, and basically, and a few other crafty people come over. There were some knitters and whatnot, and they used them, the productivity sprints, because they're reading and productivity. So we chat for about 15 minutes, and then we do our thing to a timer and some sounds of nature, or you know, I've got these things, the screens that I share, so you can hear the sounds and stuff like that. And yeah, so I just have a nice picture there, and then people go off and do what they do. So Rolanda got 500 stitches in on Friday during the sprints. So we did 4, was that right, Rolanda? Put that in the comments for me. I think we did 4. I was live for 5.5 hours basically. So I'm pretty sure that we did 4. And so what I did was we chatted for about 15 minutes, and then we went and done our thing for 45, and then we come back, we chat for a little bit, so you have a bit of a break, give your eyes a rest, you know, give your needles a rest, you know, put some water on them because they're on fire, and then, you know, we chat and talk about whatever in the comments and whatnot, and then we'd go for 45 minutes, go for 15 minutes, and then go for another 45 minutes, and we did that 4 times. So I on that particular one on Friday, I watched a movie, so the movie Passing, because I was doing a book discussion. I was supposed to be on a live for the movie discussion, but that got canned, and that's why my sprints ended up being earlier than what they were supposed to by an hour. So what I did was, while I was on my sprints, I watched the first half of the movie, then I come chit-chatted, then I watched the second half of the movie. Then on the third sprint, the movie one that got cancelled ended up starting later. That's what happened. So they were still on talking about the movie because they had finished it, and I then had finished it. So I jumped on to Heather's live stream and chit-chatted with them, and they just because they'd been already discussing it for a while, and they just asked, you know, what I thought about it and all the rest of it. So I jumped in for 40 minutes and chit-chatted with them, and got that done. So I ended up being online in 2 different places at the same time. Bit of time travel there. Yeah, so I was live in the Southern Hemisphere, and I was on someone else's channel live in the Northern Hemisphere. So yeah, but it was good. I was able to jump on, and then on the Saturday we had another, like, the book discussion, and that went for about 2.5 hours. And it's pretty, if you want to go and see that, that's over at Heather's Heroes and Heroines over on YouTube. And you will see my face with a few other people. 2 of the hosts ended up not making it. So yeah, but the rest of us were there, and 4 of us having a discussion, and it was it was really good. Just our thoughts and, you know, how we felt about it and all that sort of stuff. And I found out some, you know, interesting stuff about the author, and which I haven't yet completed. As I said to them, I said, this is what I found out so far. I haven't found out what the final result was and all that sort of stuff, or how old the author was, because that information doesn't seem to be there. But look at that, we have finished the white. All right, well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a day on that. We'll leave it where it is, and then I will do some more mapping out. So we've got the, where's my little picture? So you can see that I've got that sorted. So I've got to map out the green. I'll map out this side today, and then I'll probably just start on these little banners. I will just start putting them in and getting them sorted, and then that way we can work on them. And we'll probably, I'm sorry, be working on white again next week, but you know, this is getting really close to being done, and I think by the end of, I reckon middle of March, maybe third week of March, we'll be over to the next block, which is, I haven't even looked what one it is. Let me have a look what the next one is. Do I have my one sheet paper here? I think I do. Alright, it's a very poorly printed off one, but it was the only one I can get. So we've got one similar to this, the Snow Boutique. So we've got a little scarf and that in there. So yeah, so that will be the one that we'll be working on. But yeah, it's coming along. And then we've just got the bottom 4. And they go pretty quick. Like we can get one of these done pretty quick. So yeah, we will have this finished in time and fully finished by Christmas this year. But this I think will probably get us to the middle of the year, and then we'll switch over to something else. Yeah, and we'll go from there. All right, everybody, if you have made it this far, leave me a snowflake in the comments down below. Don't forget, if you are new here and you've yet to subscribe, please hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it, and then that way you're not going to miss out on any future posts. And while you're there, give me a thumbs up, because that gets me helps me get seen in the algorithm and help my channel grow. And as always, have a lovely day, get lots of stitching in, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.